From blockbuster icons to rebellious chart toppers, some stars have changed so drastically that you'd barely recognize them. Tonight, we're diving into 25 shocking transformations, the dramatic changes that sparked the craziest scandals in Hollywood and set the comment sections on fire. Imagine witnessing the unbelievable transformation of Michael Jackson, then comparing it to Latoya Jackson's own evolution and realizing their story is just the beginning. Stay with us until the end if you dare. The faces you thought you knew will recreate themselves right before your eyes, leaving you in awe. How many stars did you recognize in this video? If you've known and loved any of them, drop a 1 in the comments. If you've never heard of or didn't recognize anyone, comment 0. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to leave a 1 sub to support the channel and see more exciting videos. In the golden era of 90s hip-hop, Lil Kim was not just a star, she was a movement. Fierce, bold, and overflowing with confidence, she shattered every mold of what a female rapper could be. With chart-topping hits and a daring red carpet style, Lil Kim became a true icon. Yet behind that confident exterior lay a dark reality that the cameras never captured. While her music dominated the airwaves, Lil Kim quietly endured unimaginable pain. A tumultuous relationship left her broken, both physically and emotionally, and her face could not hide the scars of the past. A devastating car accident further deepened the wounds she had been carrying. It all began with a surgery aimed at recovery. However, this procedure set off a chain of unexpected changes. Over time, fans began to notice that Lil Kim was slowly fading from view. The face that once stood out with raw beauty and expressive strength became obscured under layers of enhancements. By the 2010s, her transformation left fans stunned and speechless. Her skin became brighter, her features sharper, and her expression seemed to stiffen over time. Some called it an obsession with aesthetics, while others whispered about the loss of her identity. But at the heart of this transformation lay a much more tragic story. Lil Kim, a woman wielding the scalpel as a shield, sought healing in a world obsessed with perfection. Her journey has become one of the most heartbreaking chapters in modern Hollywood scandals. Toni Braxton was once the epitome of grace. With her emotive voice and timeless beauty, she was a star of an era. However, in 2008, her world came crashing down when she received a diagnosis that would completely alter the course of her life: systemic lupus erythematosus. No one could have predicted this. One night, in the middle of a performance, Toni collapsed on stage, and from that moment on, nothing was the same. Lupus not only stole her vitality, but also slowly transformed the appearance and life of the woman the world had adored. Her weight dropped dramatically, and the soft curves that once defined her features became sharper. The radiant skin that had been her signature gradually faded under the toll of exhaustion. With the onset of illness, her once flawless appearance gradually faded, but that was just the beginning of her arduous journey. By 2010, she returned to the public eye, no longer the perfect icon she once was, but a true warrior. Toni's face now bore not only the marks of time, but also the silent, invisible battles she fought every day, scars of resilience and strength. Not long after, Toni turned to cosmetic procedures, not out of vanity, but for recovery. Rhinoplasty, filler injections. Every change was aimed at helping her regain a sense of self. In 2015, Toni appeared with a new, youthful, polished look, almost surreal in its perfection. However, this appearance left her fan base conflicted. Was this the Toni they had always adored, or was it a newly redefined version, shaped by the painful past she had endured? Still, in the rare interviews she gave, Toni subtly alluded to the deep pain within her. The physical changes were not just about recovery, they were a fight for survival. Toni Braxton was not only battling illness, but also fighting to redefine herself, becoming a symbol of strength and self-acceptance. Toni Braxton's life was no longer just about music. It became a relentless battle against a cruel disease. Yet it was within this challenge that she proved her resilience and ability to overcome pain, emerging as a symbol of survival in a world full of temptations and hardships. Jada Pinkett Smith has always been the epitome of grace and allure. Her thick, voluminous hair was not only a standout feature, but also a symbol of Jada's strength and femininity. However, in 2018, her life took a turn as she began facing a quiet battle that no one could have predicted. The autoimmune disorder alopecia quietly infiltrated Jada's body, and over the years, she watched her hair fall out gradually. Each strand that dropped felt like a sign of the battle she was enduring. Bald patches became more prominent, making it impossible for her to hide the pain, both physical and emotional. When styling tricks no longer worked, Jada made the bold decision to shave her head in 2021. This wasn't just a physical transformation, it was a powerful statement, a challenge to the societal standards of beauty that so many continue to chase. Her long, flowing hair disappeared, replaced by a new, strong image, her bare scalp, unwavering gaze, and an unshakable. With this change, Jada not only transformed her appearance, but also redefined true beauty. She overcame her fears and became a beacon of self-acceptance. For her, beauty was no longer confined to old ideals. It was about the strength to embrace oneself, no matter how the world perceives it. Tracy Morgan was once a household name in Hollywood, known for his comedic roles and fun-loving personality. However, after a severe car accident in 2014, his life changed forever. The injuries from the crash not only impacted his body, but also tested the will of a man who had always known how to bring laughter to others. Tracy and his friends were in a limousine, returning from a performance, when suddenly a Walmart truck crashed into them at high speed. The impact of the collision was catastrophic. A close friend lost their life, and Tracy was left fighting for his own. His body was shattered, ribs broken, legs crushed, and his face so severely damaged that surgeons had to reconstruct parts of it. The world anxiously awaited, unsure if he would survive. When Tracy returned to the public eye, he left fans stunned. The man they once knew, always full of light, had become someone deeply scarred. His once bright smile was now stiff, a result of nerve damage. His expression, rigid and serious, told a deeper story than words ever could. Not only had his face changed, but his entire life had been altered forever. However, from the rubble, Tracy rose stronger than ever. Not just a comedic genius, he became a symbol of survival. Behind every scar was a story. Each changed feature represented a battle won. In a world obsessed with surface-level appearances, Tracy Morgan's transformation serves as a reminder that the most profound changes often happen from within, transcending what is visible on the outside. Despite undergoing a long and painful recovery process, Tracy Morgan never gave up. He continued to fight, not only to regain his health, but also to rediscover the joy in life. And even though his body was no longer as perfect as before, Tracy held on to the optimism and unique personality that had made him a household name. Tracy Morgan stands as a living testament to the strength of resilience and courage. In the early 90s, Lark Voorhies was pure television magic. With her role as Lisa Turtle in Saved by the Bell, she wasn't just a cast member, she was a symbol of beauty and allure. Lark had radiant brown skin, a smile that lit up the screen, and an undeniable charm, making her the ideal role model for an entire generation. However, after many years out of the spotlight, fans were shocked when she returned with a drastically different appearance, one that barely resembled the woman they once admired. Lark's skin appeared pale, and the features of her face had changed significantly. The vitality and joyful energy she once radiated seemed to vanish, replaced by a somber look. Lark's transformation was not just a change in appearance, it was a heartbreaking story behind it. She began battling bipolar disorder, an illness that silently tortured her. When the disease flared up, it not only affected her mental state but also spread, impacting her appearance. Cosmetic decisions, including fillers and surgical procedures, altered her so drastically that she became nearly unrecognizable. Lark had turned into a version that her fans could no longer comprehend, leaving them both shocked and confused. Eventually, her mother spoke out, revealing the painful truth about her daughter's silent struggle. The mental illness had devastating consequences, not only for Lark's health but also for her sense of identity. The confident, alluring young star that fans once adored began to fade, leaving behind a haunting image of what once was. Lark's story has become one of the saddest chapters in modern Hollywood scandals. Missy Elliott was not just a music icon, she was a revolution in the entertainment industry. She dominated the early 2000s with futuristic beats, bold fashion, and an unstoppable presence. Her eyes sparkled with ambition, and her energy was like a magnetic force. She was not just a star, she was a fearless creative symbol. However, in 2008, everything changed. Missy began to notice unusual changes in her body. Her hands started trembling, her figure rapidly thinned, and her eyes seemed to widen overnight. Fans were shocked to see her signature look slowly fade away. The fierce hip-hop star who once owned the stage suddenly became unrecognizable both in appearance and spirit. It took 3 long years for the truth to be revealed. Missy had been silently battling Graves' disease, a rare autoimmune disorder that had severely affected her health and identity. Her once strong frame had given way to fragility. Hollow cheeks, a haunted gaze, her transformation was not only physical, but also a heartbreaking struggle with this disease. Nevertheless, Missy was not defeated. She adapted, reinvented herself, and reclaimed her strength. Every fashion choice, from baggy outfits to bold hats, became her shield and statement. She didn't retreat. She was surviving. And more importantly, she was still creating, proving that change could not halt the progress of an icon. Sammy Sosa was once a giant in the world of baseball, known for his record-breaking home runs. He was a symbol of pride, strength, and allure. With his dark skin, captivating smile, and magnetic presence on the field, Sammy embodied the greatness of sports and cultural identity. However, after retiring in 2009, the man fans once idolized began to change. And this transformation was not just a result of aging. Shortly after stepping out of the spotlight, Sammy made a shocking return that stunned the world. His skin had lightened significantly, making him appear as if he were a completely different person. Gone was the iconic look that made him unforgettable. His clothes became more extravagant, his hairstyle changed, and his entire presence carried a new identity, as if the legendary slugger had rewritten his own image. This transformation sent shockwaves through the public. Whispers turned into headlines, and the story of Sammy's new appearance quickly became a topic of discussion. In several interviews, he explained that the change was due to a skin cream, nothing more. However, many remained unconvinced and wondered what truly caused this dramatic shift. How could someone change so much that they were almost unrecognizable? No matter the explanation, this transformation remains one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries. Michael Jackson wasn't just a superstar, he was a phenomenon. The king of pop redefined music, dance, and fame. With his dazzling charisma, bright skin, and unparalleled talent, Michael captured the hearts of millions around the world. However, by the late 1980s, everything began to change, and the world watched as he underwent a dramatic transformation. The change began subtly. Faint patches on Michael's skin started to appear, along with signs of vitiligo, a rare autoimmune condition that causes loss of pigmentation. Over time, these changes became more pronounced. His nose became narrower, his jaw sharper, his cheekbones higher, and his once deep skin tone faded to a porcelain-like pallor. This transformation didn't stop at his appearance alone. Behind the scenes, Michael was battling another autoimmune disease, lupus, which further complicated his health. However, in the public eye, the story of his transformation became murky, shrouded by relentless rumors from Hollywood. Whispers of insecurity and illness quickly spread, and by the late 90s, Michael was no longer the man who once walked on the moon in our hearts. Though his voice still soared and his artistry remained breathtaking, the man we saw on stage, pale and distant, seemed a far cry from the Michael of Thriller. His transformation was not just a headline. It reflected the obsession with the pressures of fame and the hidden pain behind the spotlight. It was a battle between the public persona and the personal suffering that words could never fully express. For decades, Al Roker has been one of the familiar faces of America's favorite morning show. With his cheerful, larger-than-life personality and warm smile, he brought light into millions of homes. However, behind that smile lay a silent health crisis that few were aware of. In 2002, when Al's weight surpassed 330 pounds, doctors issued a serious warning. His health was on the brink. This forced Al to face a crucial decision, and he chose to make a change. In order to save his health, Al underwent gastric bypass surgery, a decisive move that would later change everything. In just a few months, Al lost over 150 pounds. The transformation was unbelievable, and the round, cheerful face that audiences had come to love was now gone. In its place was a man with hollowed cheeks, sagging skin, and an entirely different physique. Even on the red carpet, where Al once walked with confidence, fans couldn't help but be astonished by this dramatic change. This surgery not only helped Al lose weight, but also marked a turning point in his life, opening a new chapter for his health and personal life. Despite going through a serious crisis, Al maintained his optimism and joy, continuing to be one of the most beloved figures on television. Although the surgery gave him a new lease on life, it also brought with it profound emotional pain. The burden of becoming unrecognizable forced him to confront a significant challenge. But Al's journey stands as a testament to the power of survival, a reminder that transformation can save lives, but it also carries deep uncertainty. The face may change, but the heart behind it remains strong. T-Boz Watkins, with her fierce voice and commanding stage presence, was not only the soul of TLC, but also a symbol of confidence and female empowerment in the music industry. However, while the world danced to TLC's hits, T-Boz was fighting a quiet battle for her own life. Stricken with sickle cell anemia, a devastating hereditary disease, T-Boz quietly endured unimaginable pain. The public saw a strong woman on stage, but they didn't witness the painful nights, the trips to the hospital, or the swollen face after each flare-up. Her once vibrant hair began to fall out, and the vitality she was known for slowly faded. Yet T-Boz never allowed her illness to silence her. She not only survived, but continued to shine through exhaustion and pain. With each flare-up of her disease, her spirit grew even stronger. T-Boz proved that true beauty isn't about appearance, but about resilience. Her unwavering determination became a powerful message about the strength of the mind in a world obsessed with image. Richard Pryor was not just a comedian, he redefined the entire genre with his raw, fearless, and brutally honest approach qualities that no one dared to confront before. His jokes didn't just make people laugh, they forced them to face uncomfortable truths that had long been ignored. However, behind the comedy, Pryor was quietly fighting a battle that was anything but easy. In 1986, Pryor was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a devastating disease that slowly robbed him of his ability to move. The initial signs were mild fatigue and unsteady steps, but by the early 1990s, the famous performer could no longer move easily. His labored steps and increasing fatigue began to take over his body, transforming him into someone no longer recognized by the public. Despite the challenges, Richard Pryor never stopped creating. His physical struggles couldn't stop him from continuing to produce groundbreaking comedy, and he remained a symbol of courage, facing his illness with his laughter and joy. His resilience in the face of adversity became as much a part of his legacy as his legendary humor. His transformation was heartbreaking. Pryor's limbs became stiff, his speech slowed, and his once expressive face became rigid with physical pain. Rare public appearances and interviews left audiences stunned by his change. Yet, beneath that frail exterior was a spirit of strength that nothing could defeat. Richard Pryor refused to let the pain control him, continuing to prove that a warrior is never truly defeated. In the 1990s, Meshell Ndegeocello was not just an ordinary artist. She was a symbol of natural beauty, confidence, and vitality. With her short hair, strong personality, and radiant smile, Meshell quickly captured attention and won the hearts of millions of fans. However, behind the stage lights, she was facing an invisible and silent struggle. Her thick, lustrous hair, which had become a hallmark of her allure, began to fall out in patches. She not only faced physical pain, but also the loss of a part of her identity that had been so closely tied to her. But instead of retreating, Meshell chose strength. She made the bold decision to shave her head, a courageous act that reflected self-love and self-acceptance. Her shaved head was not just a fresh style. It was a statement of resilience and the power of recovery. With this act, Meshell didn't just change her appearance, she redefined true beauty, one that comes from within. Instead of succumbing, she took control of her own narrative, becoming a symbol of self-acceptance and the strength to overcome adversity. With the title of the Prince of Rap in the early 2000s, 50 Cent became one of the biggest names in the music industry. His chiseled physique, smooth voice, and unmatched confidence made him one of the most captivating figures in the world of hip-hop. However, this fame did not come without its cost. On May 24, 2000, 50 Cent's life changed forever in an instant. While standing outside his grandmother's house, he was ambushed and shot 9 times. The impact of the attack not only left physical scars but also completely altered his appearance. His once smooth features disappeared, replaced by a swollen jawline, fuller lips, and eyes that reflected the enduring pain he carried for the rest of his life. Despite enduring severe injuries, 50 Cent refused to let pain hold him back. Instead, he reinvented himself and continued to shine, proving that true strength comes not only from appearance, but from the unwavering will to overcome adversity. The scars from the attack became his armor. His voice grew deeper, slower, and sharper, carrying the weight of survival. He didn't just survive, he redefined himself. From a chart-topping star, he became a symbol of resilience, a living legend forged in fire. This transformation stands as one of the most powerful shifts in Hollywood's history, proving that real strength comes from the ability to rebound. Randy Jackson, the upbeat and lovable judge of American Idol, was not only known for his bright smile, but also for his vibrant, full figure. However, behind the scenes, his health was slowly deteriorating due to type 2 diabetes, forcing him to face a harsh reality in 2003. As his condition worsened, Randy made the shocking decision to undergo gastric bypass surgery in 2004. He subsequently lost over 50 kilograms, and his appearance changed completely. His once round face became thinner, even gaunt, and his skin lost the smoothness it once had, revealing a version of himself no one had expected. For some, he was almost unrecognizable. Nonetheless, Randy made it clear that this transformation was not for vanity, but for survival. A second chance had been given to him, and he reclaimed his life. Randy's change was not just a story about appearance. It was a testament to perseverance, discipline, and the tough choices he had to make in his journey to save his health and life. Gabourey Sidibe became a star with her powerful performance in the film Precious, 2009, showcasing her natural beauty and rare confidence in the Hollywood industry. With confidence that transcended traditional beauty standards, Gabourey became a symbol of self-love and personal strength. However, in 2016, after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, Gabourey made the decision to undergo a hysterectomy, marking a major turning point in her life. Following the surgery, she lost a significant amount of weight, and her appearance changed dramatically. Her once soft face now revealed sharper features and sculpted cheekbones. On the red carpet, her new look turned heads, but Gabourey made it clear that this transformation was not just about appearance. She had regained her health, her future, and her own narrative. Her change wasn't merely physical, it was a powerful statement about strength, self-acceptance, and resilience. Gabourey Sidibe proved that true beauty comes from within, and that strength may look different for everyone, but it always shines through. Latoya Jackson, the sister of pop icon Michael Jackson, was once the epitome of natural elegance. She stood out with her radiant smile, healthy brown skin, and graceful features. In the early years of her career, Latoya captivated the public with her presence familiar yet extraordinary. However, by the late 1980s, whispers about her transformation began to spread. Latoya ventured into a controversial territory, much like her brother, with aesthetic decisions that made her look increasingly different. Throughout the 1990s, her transformation became more pronounced and undeniable. Her skin lost its warm, radiant glow, replaced by a much lighter tone. Her nose gradually became narrower, and her once soft face became rigid, almost sculpted. Fans were left stunned by this change, with many unable to recognize her. However, this transformation was not just about appearance. It symbolized deeper pressures and silent struggles in the world of Hollywood. Latoya's story is not just about a lost beauty, but about identity, reputation, and the cost of perfection that the public demands. Wendy Williams was once the queen of daytime television. With her bold personality, distinctive voice, and fearless attitude, she became an integral part of pop culture. But behind the screen, Wendy was facing a silent storm that few knew about. In the late 90s, Wendy began noticing subtle changes in her body. When she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder affecting the thyroid, her physical transformation began. The changes were relentless, and throughout the 2010s, fans witnessed a significant shift in her appearance. Wendy's weight fluctuated unpredictably, her face became swollen and uneven, and her once vibrant, expressive eyes became large, bulging, and nearly unrecognizable. This transformation not only made Wendy a symbol of vulnerability, but also served as a profound reminder that even the most famous, seemingly invincible people are fighting battles that the public doesn't see. Wendy's journey is a testament to inner strength and resilience in the face of life's greatest challenges. Before becoming one of the most controversial figures in modern music, Kanye West was just an emerging music producer chasing his dreams. However, in October 2002, an event completely changed his life. After falling asleep at the wheel, Kanye's car crashed into oncoming traffic. The accident not only left him seriously injured, but also had a profound impact on his career and personal life. Emergency reconstructive surgery with metal plates and bone grafts helped him retain his face, but the transformation was undeniable. His jaw had to be stitched up for weeks, and his face became uneven, with his mouth noticeably reshaped. However, instead of being crushed, the accident ignited Kanye's rise. A groundbreaking anthem was recorded while his jaw was still healing. But behind that victory was a man who had changed forever, both physically and emotionally. The impact of that night lingered, shaping the story of one of the most controversial names in the history of music and Hollywood. Kanye, once a promising music producer, became a highly controversial figure in the entertainment industry after this accident. The physical injuries not only affected him physically, but also altered the way he viewed himself and the world. This accident marked a turning point in his life, as he was forced to confront not only the challenges of recovering his health, but also the immense pressures from the public and his career. From a beloved music producer, Kanye West became a symbol of transformation and contradiction in the music world, proving that sometimes unforeseen events can become the pivotal turning points in a person's life. Anthony Anderson, who had once stood out with his larger-than-life personality and equally impressive physique, not only struggled with fame, but also faced type 2 diabetes. In the mid-2000s, Anderson decided to embark on an intense weight loss journey, a health and willpower challenge with no excuses. The results were nothing short of remarkable. His once round face slimmed down into sharp contours, and his entire appearance underwent a dramatic transformation. Although the rapid weight loss left noticeable physical signs, Anderson never hid this change. He walked with pride, and his transformation became a symbol of personal triumph. It was not just about losing weight, but about resilience and the determination to never give up. When he returned to the spotlight, especially in those red carpet moments, everyone couldn't help but be amazed by his dramatic transformation. It wasn't just a new look, it was a new life. Anthony Anderson proved that true change doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you refuse to give up and keep fighting with yourself. Nicki Minaj, who stormed into the music scene with razor-sharp verses and an unforgettable persona, quickly became a powerhouse in the world of rap, a domain traditionally dominated by men. Her rise was swift, powerful, and fearless. But as her fame soared in the 2010s, her appearance changed as well, sparking constant speculation. Her curves became more exaggerated, and her facial features altered, leading some to argue that she now resembled a doll more than the fierce, natural woman who once dominated the stage. Nicki's bold and distinctive fashion style, once a symbol of confidence and individuality, gradually turned into a transformation that left fans and critics stunned. The discussions didn't just stop at her physical changes, they extended to deeper influences in her life. Nicki Minaj's story is not just about altering her appearance, but about the shift in how she was recognized and how she chose self-acceptance. She challenged societal norms, redefining beauty and success on her own terms. This transformation caused a public divide, sparking heated discussions. Nicki wasn't simply following trends, she was rewriting them. In an industry obsessed with perfection, her transformation became one of the biggest modern scandals, making her a figure of controversy, fascination, and endless rumors. She proved that reinvention is not just about changing appearance. It's about redefining oneself in a world that constantly imposes standards. NeNe Leakes was not just a reality TV star. She was a force of nature that shook up television and captivated the public's attention. As the standout star of Real Housewives of Atlanta, NeNe enchanted audiences with her unfiltered honesty and commanding presence. However, as her fame exploded, her appearance also underwent a noticeable transformation. The changes in NeNe's appearance made even her most loyal fans take a second look. Her face no longer held the natural softness it once had. Instead, her features became more sculpted, with a refined nose and firmer skin. Her new look sparked endless speculation and turned her into a headline magnet. Some praised her confidence while others remained skeptical, but no one could take their eyes off her transformation. Despite all the gossip, NeNe remained undeterred. She embraced every procedure and transformation, continuing to shine under the harsh lights of Hollywood. She didn't change to fit into the industry. Instead, she was redefining it on her own terms. Vybz Kartel, one of the standout stars in Jamaica's dancehall scene, was once known for his raw presence and powerful energy. However, around 2010, a sudden change in his appearance caused a stir in the media and public. Kartel's skin noticeably lightened, making him almost unrecognizable, and this transformation sparked a media frenzy. When he admitted to using skin-lightening cream but denied any cosmetic surgery, public opinion became even more divided. However, the transformation didn't stop at his skin. His appearance grew increasingly flamboyant, with unpredictable clothing choices and hairstyles, making him look like a completely different person from the man fans had originally admired. The question remains, was this a statement, a strategy, or simply Kartel's personal transformation? Regardless, this metamorphosis made him one of the most controversial artists in music, compelling audiences to reevaluate authenticity and the nature of transformations in the entertainment world. Cardi B rose to fame as a bold and vibrant rap star, unafraid to express herself. With her fearless attitude and unique style, Cardi conquered the music world with her confidence and distinct image. However, like many other stars in the industry, Cardi has continuously evolved her look, from her fashion choices to changes in her appearance. Cardi B's rise to fame is not just a success story, but a powerful transformation that made people stop, look, and be amazed. From a girl with a simple, approachable charm, the Cardi of the early 2010s was nothing like the powerhouse we see today. It all began in 2014, when she made a bold decision that marked the start of her image reinvention. This was the moment that would change the way the world perceived her. As her fame grew, Cardi's appearance evolved as well. Her figure became more toned, her curves more defined, and her style bolder than ever. With each enhancement, both on and off the stage, she built an unmistakable image. Her facial features became sharper, her confidence soared, and her presence lit up any room, especially on the fashion-forward red carpets. However, despite the changes in her appearance, Cardi B has maintained a strong sense of authenticity. She not only embraces the spotlight, but also redefines strength, beauty, and control in the eyes of the public. Each transformation is a step toward becoming a force that the world cannot stop watching. Cardi B's journey is not just a story about music, but about image and self-transformation in a world that constantly demands perfection. Her decisions to change, whether in appearance or style, have made her a symbol of freedom and boldness in the music industry, proving that transformation can go hand in hand with success and acceptance. Teddy Pendergrass once dominated the world of R&B with a voice that could melt hearts and a powerful stage presence. Tall, alluring, and full of strength, Teddy was not just a singer, but a phenomenon. However, on March 18, 1982, his life changed forever. A devastating car accident left him paralyzed from the neck down, ending the life he had known. Previously, he was an energetic performer, but now he had to sit in a wheelchair, no longer able to move as he once did, and unable to stand on stage. Fans were shocked, and the accident sparked a wave of speculation and whispers from the media. It became one of the most heartbreaking scandals in Hollywood history, shaking the music world to its core. However, despite facing an unimaginable loss, Teddy's spirit never broke. His courage, grace, and unwavering will to continue living inspired millions. Though he could no longer stand, his musical legacy remained stronger than ever, reminding everyone that greatness is not measured by what is lost, but by how one rises after a fall. Teddy Pendergrass left an unforgettable mark with his soulful voice and inspiring journey through adversity. Let's honor his legacy by revisiting classic hits like Love TKO or sharing your favorite Teddy story in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to dive into more incredible stories of legends. Sean Diddy Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, is a 55-year-old rapper, producer, and media mogul. In 1993, Diddy founded Bad Boy Records, which not only shook the music industry, but also redefined hip-hop culture. Diddy played a pivotal role in bringing some of the biggest names in hip-hop into the spotlight, and his own music became just as iconic. Diddy is not just a media mogul, He is someone who knows how to reinvent himself, facing the challenges and pressures of the industry head-on. His comebacks have not only built a great career, but also serve as a testament to his ability to rise from failures and the harsh realities of the entertainment world. Diddy's story is one of resilience, turning setbacks into opportunities, and the strength to redefine himself in an ever-changing industry. Sean "Diddy" Combs, who had established himself as a mogul in the music industry and become one of the biggest names in rap with iconic hits like Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, 1997, now faces serious charges that could potentially destroy his career and freedom forever. On September 16, 2024, Diddy was indicted in one of the most serious federal cases ever brought against a major music figure, marking a painful turning point in his career. Federal prosecutors accuse Diddy of leading a secret operation spanning over a decade, driven by power, threats, and abuse. The serious charges include extortion, human trafficking, and running a criminal enterprise that exploited vulnerable individuals under the guise of celebrity. Diddy was arrested at a hotel in Manhattan just days before the indictment was made public. Behind the lavish exterior and elite parties, prosecutors have described a troubling reality. Diddy is alleged to have used his significant influence and close relationships to organize secret gatherings with adult themes, referred to as freak-offs. Some of these events reportedly involved individuals who did not participate voluntarily. These gatherings were not random, but meticulously planned, filmed, and reenacted. However, the most serious allegation is that Diddy ran a criminal enterprise to protect himself, silence others, and maintain control. Just the extortion charge alone could lead to a life sentence. Additionally, investigators discovered thousands of bottles of baby oil at his residence, a detail that has raised further suspicions about inappropriate intentions. Diddy has strongly denied all the allegations, stating that he has never harmed anyone, whether an adult or minor, man or woman. The official trial began on May 5th at the federal court in Manhattan, marking an important step with the selection of the jury. Opening arguments are expected to begin on May 12th, and the trial is projected to last 4 weeks, with 3 weeks allocated to the prosecution and 1 week for the defense. This is not just another celebrity scandal in the courtroom. This case has the potential to completely alter Diddy's image, and with the involvement of many high-profile figures connected to the case, it is sure to send shockwaves through the music industry and the entertainment world. Stay tuned for shocking developments and the secret names linked to this case as the trial unfolds, revealing truths that have never been exposed before. The trial of Sean "Diddy" Combs is becoming one of the most shocking trials in the history of modern entertainment. The scale of the allegations is massive, and what makes it even more startling is the claim that a global music icon is accused of using his fame and fortune to build a secret empire based on exploitation and control. The trial has captured the attention of the media worldwide, with hundreds of national and international journalists present at the federal court in Manhattan from the very first day. Diddy appeared in court with a completely different look from his usual public appearances. Instead of the typical khaki prison uniform provided by the MDC detention center, he was allowed to wear personal clothing by the judge's order. He wore a blue pullover sweater paired with a white collared shirt and navy trousers. While the defendant was not permitted to wear lace-up shoes in the courtroom, it was impossible to determine the type of shoes he was wearing from where he sat. After about 90 minutes into the jury selection process, Diddy quietly raised his hand and requested a break. The judge replied, "Are you sure you need a break?" Diddy responded, "Your Honor, I'm feeling a bit nervous right now." This was a rare moment of vulnerability for a man who had built his brand on control, confidence, and dominance. Yet now, he was faced with the reality of a trial that could shape the rest of his life. The legal battle and tensions within the prison system began to unfold on November 16, 2023, when his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit in federal court. She accused Diddy of manipulation, control, and years of abuse. However, this lawsuit was quickly resolved on November 17th, right after it was filed, with no terms revealed, which only fueled speculation about what really transpired. The silence surrounding the settlement has sparked intense curiosity and rumors, leaving many to wonder about the true nature of their relationship and the events that led to the lawsuit. The scandal continued to escalate when, in May 2024, CNN released a chilling surveillance video from 2016, in which Diddy was seen attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway. The footage was undeniable and immediately sparked widespread outrage among the public. Just 2 days later, on May 19th, Diddy released an apology video, admitting that his actions were inexcusable and calling it one of the worst moments of his life. However, things quickly took a turn for the worse. On September 16, 2024, federal agents arrested Diddy in New York on multiple serious charges, including running an organized crime network and engaging in national-level illegal activities. Diddy was denied bail and remains in custody as the investigation continues to expand. However, the biggest shock came on April 4, 2025. Diddy's trial is not just a scandal in the entertainment industry, but also a lesson about the value of power and what can happen when dark secrets in the life of a celebrity are brought to light. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan have filed an expanded indictment, adding more charges related to human trafficking and organized misconduct, intensifying the legal pressure on Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy continues to deny all allegations, but the evidence continues to be presented, heightening the tension in the case. The trial is expected to last at least 2 months, with the possibility of high-profile names like Kanye West, Kid Cudi, and Michael B. Jordan appearing as the proceedings unfold. Before any arguments could be made, the court had to form a jury consisting of 12 official jurors and up to 6 alternate jurors to oversee this high-profile criminal trial. To accomplish this, the court summoned an initial group of 150 potential jurors. Diddy, also known as Sean P. Diddy Combs, had been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn for approximately 8 months after the federal indictment was made public in September 2024. The indictment charges Diddy with conspiracy to commit extortion, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and transporting individuals for prostitution. Prosecutors allege that he ran an organized criminal network with criminal activities spanning many years. While Diddy denies all charges and pleads not guilty, the case is attracting significant attention from the public and the media. Diddy was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York and immediately taken to MDC Brooklyn. Efforts to secure his release on bail were unsuccessful, despite his legal team's proposal for house arrest at his mansion in Miami, with a bail set at $50 million and GPS monitoring. However, the judge rejected all of these proposals, stating that Diddy could influence witnesses and impact the case. In prison, Diddy was initially placed on suicide watch and later transferred to a protective custody unit, where he spent a brief time with high-profile inmates such as Sam Bankman-Fried. He was eventually moved to the general population, where reports indicate that Diddy gained allies within the prison who helped him avoid federal surveillance. Diddy is accused of contacting at least 8 inmates, using their phone accounts to interfere with witnesses, influence the jury, and even orchestrate social media campaigns to sway public opinion. Prosecutors claim that Diddy violated prison rules, which only exacerbated the charges against him. At the same time, some reports suggest that he became paranoid about being poisoned and suffered from nervous exhaustion during the holiday season, further complicating the investigation. Diddy now faces one of the most high-profile criminal trials in music history, and the case could reshape the rest of his life. Given the complexity and severity of the charges, Diddy's future, along with the career he has built over many years, is under serious threat. The trial is set to begin with jury selection on May 12th and may last for 4 intense weeks, drawing attention not only from the public but also from international media. Diddy Combs, after facing serious charges, is not only dealing with legal pressure, but also with a mental struggle to maintain his resilience. According to information from the Daily Mail, Diddy has been using methods like meditation and deep breathing to emotionally recover from the stressful events in his life and career. In January 2025, Diddy was taken to a hospital in Brooklyn for an MRI related to a knee injury he sustained while running a marathon. However, his lawyers declined to comment on this information, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons also refused to confirm any related details, citing privacy and security policies. Diddy has recently appeared slimmer than before, a change that further highlights the toll his incarceration has taken on him. Before the trial officially began, the jury selection process started, with federal prosecutors and defense attorneys conducting a thorough examination of potential jurors' backgrounds, biases, and potential connections. The jury selection process for Diddy's case is a critical step in determining the trial's outcome, with the goal of ensuring the maximum fairness in such a highly controversial case. The court released preliminary guidelines for the jury and a detailed questionnaire aimed at uncovering biases and background knowledge of potential jurors. One of the questions on the form asked whether they recognized a long list of high-profile figures involved in the case, including Kanye West, Michael B. Jordan, Young Miami, and others. Some jurors admitted that they recognized Michael B. Jordan from his roles in films, although they were not personally acquainted with these individuals. In addition to questions about familiarity with the famous figures involved, the questionnaire also explored significant locations such as the Essex House Hotel, a place one juror revealed he had worked at the previous year. The questions delved deeper into the personal backgrounds of the jurors, asking whether they had any prior knowledge of the case or experience dealing with issues like addiction, abuse, or similar matters. The court also inquired about the jurors' ability to maintain objectivity in special situations, such as when witnesses testify under a pseudonym or are granted immunity. Diddy's legal team has also prepared a detailed strategy to ensure that the jury selection process is fair. They created a 72-question jury questionnaire to identify jurors who may be sympathetic to Diddy's case. The questions covered sensitive topics such as drug abuse, alcoholism, violence, and complex personal relationships. Diddy's legal team believes that having jurors respond to these questions in writing will encourage them to be more candid, especially regarding personal and sensitive issues. They also intend to ask the jury if they have watched any documentaries or media coverage about Diddy since the allegations became public. This is to ensure that the jurors have not been influenced by outside information and are able to deliver a fair verdict in the case. With the trial expected to last for several weeks, Diddy faces not only one of the most high-profile criminal cases in the entertainment industry, but also the potential collapse of an empire built on power and influence. This trial is not just a legal battle. It is a fight to protect Diddy's reputation, career, and freedom. As all eyes turn to the courtroom, the big question remains: can a music icon overcome serious allegations and maintain his image? With the serious charges and intense public and media attention, the jury selection process in Diddy's case has become a crucial part of this legal battle. This process is not just a procedural element of the trial, but also reflects the determination of the parties involved to ensure that the jury is chosen fairly and remains unaffected by outside influences, especially the widespread media coverage surrounding Diddy. The jury questionnaire, prepared by Diddy's legal team, includes 72 questions, which is seen as an effort to uncover any biases and identify jurors who could be impartial in judging the case. However, the prosecution has criticized the questionnaire, arguing that asking sensitive questions in writing is excessive and should be addressed directly by the judge. The questions primarily focus on personal connections with famous figures, jurors' experiences with abuse, addiction, and other legal issues, all aimed at determining which jurors can remain objective in this case. There are concerns that this questionnaire could be a strategy to manipulate the trial's outcome, aimed at selecting jurors who may be biased in Diddy's favor. With high-profile figures like Kanye West and Michael B. Jordan involved in the case, the questionnaire raised significant questions about the jurors' familiarity with the individuals connected to the case. However, some jurors admitted to knowing about Diddy and the lawsuits involving him, raising concerns that they may not be able to maintain objectivity. Among the potential jurors, some were dismissed for personal reasons. For instance, one juror was excused after admitting to having seen a surveillance video from a hotel in which Diddy appeared to engage in inappropriate behavior with his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Others were removed for personal reasons, such as being unable to commit to attending the trial for the full 8 weeks or having negative experiences with law enforcement. As of now, 11 jurors have been removed from the selection process. The goal is to eliminate a total of 45 potential jurors, after which both parties can use their peremptory challenges to dismiss jurors they disagree with, until there are 12 official jurors and a few alternates remaining. This process is expected to last at least a week, but due to the complexity and prominence of the case, it may take longer. Some jurors are still being investigated for their connections and evaluation process. One woman admitted to having watched the surveillance video from the hotel, while two others shared that they had been victims of abuse, but insisted they could still consider the case objectively and focus solely on the evidence presented. A strange moment in the jury selection process occurred when one juror confessed to being arrested at the age of 16 for stealing a wand at Harry Potter World in Universal Studios, adding further complexity to the trial. All of these details show that the jury selection process is not just a legal procedure, but a crucial part of determining the outcome of the case. The public and media attention, combined with the legal strategies from both sides, will undoubtedly make this case one of the most high-profile trials in modern entertainment and legal history. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs continues to attract significant attention due to the serious charges he faces. Notably, the three main charges, extortion, human trafficking, and illegal transportation for criminal activities, are at the center of the case. Since the initial indictment, prosecutors have filed not one, but three superseding indictments, adding new evidence and accusations to the original case. If convicted of forced human trafficking, Diddy could face a prison sentence of at least 15 years, with a maximum of life imprisonment. The charges of illegal transportation could add another 10 years to his sentence. However, the most serious charge for Diddy is extortion. Prosecutors claim that he ran an organized criminal network, using his entire entertainment empire as a front to conduct illegal activities for over 2 decades. The crime of racketeering could be the most devastating blow to Diddy's future. Legal experts suggest that if he is convicted on even a single racketeering charge, he could face life in prison. Racketeering, in simple terms, involves running a clandestine organization built on criminal activities, using a legitimate business as a front for dark, wrongful deeds. In Diddy's case, prosecutors allege he used his entertainment empire as a tool to carry out extensive criminal activity. If the jury agrees with this accusation, the consequences for Diddy could be extremely serious. Specifically, if he is convicted under the RICO Act, a powerful legal tool designed to dismantle organized crime syndicates like the mafia, the penalties could be as severe as life imprisonment. The RICO Act, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, allows prosecutors to pursue individuals suspected of operating organized criminal enterprises, including those involved in extensive criminal conspiracies. If Diddy is convicted under RICO, prosecutors do not need to prove every allegation in the indictment, but only need to prove at least 2 predicate acts related to the criminal enterprise they allege. This makes defending Diddy significantly more challenging, because if prosecutors can prove a connection between the criminal acts, such as human trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, then Diddy could face an extremely harsh sentence. With all these serious allegations, Diddy's trial doesn't just affect him personally, but also has a profound impact on the entertainment industry, where his alleged crimes are said to have had a major influence. This case has not only captured media attention, but has also forced the entire industry to re-examine power dynamics, manipulation, and activities that may be occurring in the shadows, under the guise of celebrity. The trial is still ongoing, and while Diddy continues to vehemently deny all the allegations, his future will depend on whether the jury can render a fair verdict, and whether the prosecutors can clearly prove these accusations. If prosecutors can convince the jury that just 2 of the criminal acts Diddy is accused of were part of a larger conspiracy, that would be a strong basis for concluding he is guilty and could lead to a life sentence. With serious charges like extortion, human trafficking, and illegal transport, if Diddy is convicted of any 2 of these counts, it is almost certain that he would face life imprisonment. Particularly, if he is convicted of the extortion charge, the situation becomes even worse. Federal sentencing guidelines for extortion are very strict, and if Diddy is convicted of this charge, it's possible he could spend the rest of his life in prison, even if other charges are unsuccessful. Federal authorities now have substantial evidence to prove this extortion allegation. Prosecutors have revealed that Diddy's associates were involved in a targeted attack on an unnamed individual's vehicle, and they have multiple witnesses ready to testify in this case. This story becomes even more complicated with information related to Kid Cudi. In 2012, Kid Cudi stated that his car had been blown up as part of an act of revenge. Diddy's legal team will undoubtedly have to be extremely sharp in refuting the extortion charges, especially when linked to unusual events and serious criminal accusations. Prosecutors have also revealed that they have several key witnesses ready to testify against Diddy in this case. One notable witness is Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend, who is expected to play a significant role in the upcoming trial. Others anticipated to testify include Diddy's other ex-girlfriends, a close business associate, and an old friend, all of whom have made shocking claims. However, the identities of these witnesses are being kept confidential to protect their safety and privacy. With 4 accusers in the case, 3 of them have requested their identities be protected due to fears for their safety. This increases the seriousness of the case, as the safety of these witnesses may be threatened. The public is currently awaiting how these statements will impact the case. The involvement of Cassie Ventura, Diddy's girlfriend for 11 years, is a decisive factor in the criminal case against Diddy. She is not only a crucial witness, but also the person who initiated this entire scandal from the beginning. In November 2023, just 10 months before Diddy was federally indicted, Cassie filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, accusing him of abuse, manipulation, and controlling her life for over a decade. The lawsuit alleged that Diddy exploited his power as a record label owner to abuse her, mistreat her, and even sex traffic her. Immediately after Cassie filed the lawsuit, Diddy settled the case for an undisclosed amount. And although the terms of the agreement were kept confidential, Diddy's legal team quickly clarified that the payment was not an admission of guilt. However, this swift settlement raised public questions, especially when Diddy quickly spoke out to dismiss the allegations as baseless and offensive. Nevertheless, some details from Cassie's lawsuit have been closely examined, among which is a shocking claim. Diddy attacked her violently in a hotel hallway in Los Angeles. Cassie's lawsuit was further strengthened when a surveillance video from 2016 was leaked, allegedly showing Diddy hitting, kicking and dragging Cassie through a hotel hallway. This video made Cassie's accusation much more credible. Diddy responded with a public apology, stating that he was disgusted by his actions. However, Diddy's legal team has attempted to downplay the significance of the video, arguing that it is merely a glimpse into a complex and consensual relationship that lasted for years. They even claimed that the video had been edited and requested that it not be allowed as evidence at trial, asserting that it does not accurately represent the nature of Diddy and Cassie's relationship. On April 25th, Judge Arun Subramanian dealt a major blow to Diddy's defense when he ruled against Diddy's attempt to block the video. In a shocking decision, the judge allowed certain segments of the video to be shown to the jury. But it didn't stop there. Prosecutors are also planning to introduce 9 other videos, referred to as Diddy's shocking recordings, which were reportedly provided by Cassie Ventura herself. These recordings, if shown, could be a crucial part of the prosecution's case. Cassie Ventura is the only person who has unilaterally chosen to testify publicly under her real name. Meanwhile, other witnesses will testify under pseudonyms to protect their identities in order to avoid retaliation or threats from those involved in the case. This case is not just a legal battle between Diddy and the prosecution, but also an event that could change the entire image of a music icon. The involvement of Cassie Ventura, along with shocking evidence like the video and recordings, makes the case increasingly complex. Diddy is not only facing serious charges, but also undeniable truths from those who were once by his side. The big question now is whether Diddy can defend himself against these accusations as the evidence and testimony grow stronger and stronger. Besides Cassie, the government is expected to summon 3 more important witnesses, bringing the total to 4 individuals who could provide decisive testimony. These witnesses could be former friends, business associates, or even people directly involved in the alleged acts, with the goal of strengthening the accusations against Diddy. However, their identities are still being kept confidential to protect the safety and privacy of these individuals. In addition to the major changes in the trial proceedings, Diddy's legal team is also facing a crisis. In February 2025, Anthony Rico, a top lawyer on Diddy's team, unexpectedly departed. Rico, a Harlem native like Diddy and known for defending high-profile individuals, had previously represented figures like Osama bin Laden and in other controversial cases. Rico's departure raises doubts about the legal team's ability to continue defending Diddy effectively against the accusations. Rico announced on February 20th that he could no longer continue as effective counsel, but did not provide a detailed reason. Although losing a prominent lawyer, Diddy still retains a strong legal team. 5 other lawyers, including Mark Garagos, known for defending controversial figures, are still on Diddy's side and have begun building his defense strategy. Mark Garagos, a veteran lawyer with years of experience representing famous and controversial figures, has begun to establish Diddy's defense strategy. On April 25th, Garagos argued that Diddy's lifestyle, although frequently controversial and described as wife-swapping, should not be considered criminal. This is a strategy to mitigate the extortion and human trafficking charges that Diddy is facing. With all the changes in lawyers and witnesses, Diddy's case continues to attract significant attention not only from the media, but also from the public. Judge R.N. Subramanian, who is presiding over the case, is facing immense pressure to ensure the trial proceeds fairly and transparently. Subramanian, who previously served as a legal clerk for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, has considerable experience in the legal system. However, the change in judges in Diddy's case in October 2024, when Judge Andrew Carter was replaced without a clear reason, has led many to question the fairness of the trial. With the increasing number of accusations and important accusers, this case will undoubtedly continue to cause a stir not only within the entertainment industry, but also in the legal community. As Diddy's trial approaches, he is continuously strengthening his defense team, aiming to increase his legal power against the serious allegations. Recently, on April 15th, court documents revealed that lead lawyer Brian Steele requested permission to join Diddy's defense team. Steele, a respected lawyer in the industry, has become prominent in recent years for defending Young Thug in the RICO case. Although Young Thug ultimately pleaded guilty to drug and gun charges, he was released after 2.5 years in custody, a significant victory considering the potential 120-year sentence he was facing. Steele, now a part of Diddy's defense team, brings a strong legal strategy to his client. However, Steele is not the only well-known lawyer Diddy targeted. Joe Tacopina, who helped ASAP Rocky get acquitted in an assault case, also revealed that Diddy attempted to recruit him. Despite this, Tacopina declined, stating that his loyalty to his long-term clients like Jay-Z and Roc Nation prevented him from taking Diddy's case. Although Tacopina initially criticized Diddy's case, he changed his stance in a recent interview. Tacopina emphasized that he did not refuse the case due to personal feelings or a lack of belief in Diddy's defense. Instead, he argued that the core issue of the case revolves around consent, whether the individuals truly consented to participate in the alleged actions or simply accepted the benefits from being associated with Diddy and his group. Tacopina admitted that he did not have enough detailed information about the case, but seemed more open about the possibility of joining Diddy's legal team. This change shows that Diddy is trying to attract top defense lawyers as the trial approaches. With the involvement of renowned lawyers like Brian Steele and Joe Tacopina, Diddy clearly does not want to take any risks in the upcoming legal battle. With the trial scheduled to begin on May 12, 2025, the big question is whether this is a desperate move by Diddy or part of a legal strategy to strengthen his defense team. The changes in strategy and the recruitment of renowned lawyers show that Diddy is very determined to defend himself against the accusations of extortion, human trafficking, and other charges. All eyes will be on the first day of the trial as the case unfolds, and the world witnesses one of the most prominent cases in modern entertainment and legal history. Diddy was once an icon of power and success, an untouchable king in the glamorous entertainment world, known for his billion-dollar empires and widespread influence. But as the spotlight fades, the dark side of his empire has become unavoidable. From serious accusations to troubled relationships, the question is whether this is just a temporary misstep or the end for a man who built his legacy on a rotten foundation. Diddy's story is not just about physical changes or fame. These changes reflect the silent struggles that few knew about. The shocking rumors in the entertainment industry and the internal battles, from betrayal in personal relationships to tense legal fights, all reveal that the price of fame is not only great but sometimes immeasurable. This change is not just the downfall of one person, but also a change of a generation. Celebrities like Diddy are facing the exposure of the dark sides they have hidden for years. Their stories are a reminder that true strength lies not in what they have achieved, but in the ability to survive the toughest battles, the stumbles from which everyone thought they could no longer rise. Whose transformation blew you away the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss our next exciting video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.